Jenny.
Well, this is such a wonderfully daft exercise.
Yes.
Because, of course, Dickens is, as we all know, the greatest novelist the English language has ever had, bar none. And so I can afford to take you on a byway and take you off piste, as it were, and shed new light on yet another facet of this totally brilliant man. Because as well as these novels of unparalleled genius, I want to draw your attention to all the time and effort he put in, and God knows how he did it, because that man had just such phenomenal energy. He put in to help those who are right at the bottom of the social heap, even when he's right at the top and, you know, fantastically successful. And I'm thinking about the amazing decade for Dickens, from the late 40s to the late 1850s. The years of Dombey and Son, David Copperfield, Bleak House, Hard Times, Little Dorrit, all those in a decade, just think of it. Just amazing. And it's also the period that he sets up what he calls his great experiment. And this was Urania Cottage, which I've been working on, I'm passionately interested in. It's a home for fallen women, which he set up in Shepherd's Bush, and he helped run for 11 years, a quite extraordinary enterprise. It was a rescue bid, it was an attempt at reinvention, to take these bedraggled young women, these girls from the streets, from the prisons, from garrets and workhouses, whatever, and he would turn them round. He would recreate them as respectable domestic servants, and then they'd be sent abroad to start new lives. Amazing idea. The money came from Angela Burdett Coutts. She was the richest heiress of her time. She's a sort of Paris Hilton, longer skirts. But the ideas all came from Dickens. It was his brainchild, his attempt at rehab, and it's an age which doesn't believe in rehab. So, well, not for women anyway. And so it's a real step change in philosophy to give these sweepings of the street, as one newspaper called these women, to give them not just their lives back, but actually new lives, better lives. And he'd do it by making a home for them, which is a really new idea for the time. And the more you read about Urania Cottage, he wrote hundreds of letters about it, the more you realise what a pioneer Dickens was. For a start, its size, there were lots of places like that where women could go if they were desperate, but they were like prisons, you know, they were temporary, they were barrack-like, and, you know, really unfriendly temporary places, and you had to dress in horrible clothes and everything. Dickens wants something small. He wants a family. He wants something like a family. And this is for teenagers who'd never had families. So it's a really bold idea, just a dozen or so at a time, just the size of like a large Victorian family. And he wanted it to be like a family. And actually, I think he preferred it to his own family. Because he was there several times a week. You know, he really put a lot in. And I think the reason why we don't hear about it, in John Forster's biography, which is where all the other biographies come from, there's just one mention of it, because other people weren't interested, but Dickens was interested. He was the one who really wanted to help these women. He was a control freak. You know, everything had to be run as he wanted it. But, you know, why not? He had their interests at heart. They were clean. Bath night was every Saturday. They were well dressed. He chose all their clothes for them. He trained them. He designed the syllabus, absolutely. Every single day, hour of the day, he knew what they would be doing. He educated them. They learnt the 3 R's. He gave them poetry, music. They were going to have cookery lessons even from the celebrity chef of the day, Alexis Sawyer. I mean, you know, everything top drawer, just amazing. And as well as him looking after, they made a huge impact on him, and I think you can see them, you know, in the pages of his novels. And then after all this training, off to the colonies, new lives, wonderful. And for some of them, not all, obviously, you can't strike like it. For some of them, it was a brilliant success. The experiment, as he called it, it paid off. They emigrated, they married, they settled down in Australia, in Canada, in South Africa, and they had families. And so there are some great granddaughters out there today who owe their lives, their living testament to Dickens, not just his good words on the page, but his good works in real life. So a real achievement, I think. And so my pitch is Dickens, not just, of course, a superlative novelist, yes, we take that, but Dickens, the charismatic celebrity, leading this really high-end philanthropic project from the front. I mean, he's the Jamie Oliver of his day. What better commendation can I give you?
Well, if Jamie Oliver read some books sometimes.